Hello, and thank you for this opportunity to introduce the Geologists Association. Just as a reminder, the GA is not the following. It's not the Geographical Association, Gamblers Anonymous, the Giftware Association, the Gaelic Association, or indeed the Geological Society of London. On our left, we have an image of the founding president of the Geologists Association, Joshua Tallman Smith. And on the right, you have an image of me, because you probably wonder who is speaking to you. And I'm the current president of the Geologists Association, here standing on the top of Hay Tor. I work at the British Geological Survey, and I'm an engineering geologist by MSc training and a karst hydrogeologist by PhD training. In my current role, I specialise in shallow geohazards. I'm going to start with an introduction to the Geologists Association, a description of how we have evolved from a membership of 30 in 1958, when the association was established by Tallman Smith. A consideration of the types of activities that we do now and comparing those with what were initiated in the 1950s, and a few thoughts on the subscription rates. So we can draw from the information that we have in the GA archives to find out this information. And the GA archives are maintained by Dr. Jonathan Larwood. And we actually have space where a room at the Burlington House where these archives are maintained and referred back to for research purposes. If you'd like more information on the history of the GA, there is information available on our website. So please do feel that you can go there and explore a bit more. But essentially, the group started in 1858 with just 30 members, and some of the signatures are evident on the left-hand side of the screen. And at that time, there were about 5 excursions each year, and these are the rates that were being charged: 10 shillings, that's about 50 pence in modern currency, and 5 shillings for regional group members. Since 2016, we've become, there has obviously been a steady progression until 2016, but talking about 2016 onwards more broadly, the membership has been at around 1,300, with more than 90 local and affiliated groups in the UK. We operate, or we run about 400 field trips across those 90 local and affiliated groups, and 2 to 3 international field trips led by the GA, and about 6 to 10 UK field trips per year. That, of course, is in the normal way of things, and things obviously, as we all are aware, are impacted by COVID in the current situation. Each year we have a national conference, a festival of geology, a student symposium, and annual subscriptions, I think, are still relatively reasonable when you consider inflation, and rates are visible on the screen there: 30 to 45 pounds for full membership, depending on single or multiple, and student concessions at a rate of 20 pounds. In addition, since 2001, when Rockwatch was established, there are in the order of 1,000 Rockwatch members. That includes younger members and their families. And the rates, again, are visible there on the screen. The local and affiliated groups are distributed across the country, and you can see the numbers in each region in the black figures over the defined regions here. As I've just explained, they undertake a whole wide range of field excursions and also visits to local museums. Some of them travel between regions, and people attend different groups' field visits because they are advertised, usually through booking. So, you know, if you're interested in GA activity in your area, and it looks like there are 9 groups associated with the Southwest, you may be interested in the Dorset Geologists Association group. And I would really recommend, even if you don't want to take part in any of the activities, have a look at their website. I was particularly impressed when I looked at it, and they too include information from their archives. So the aims of the Geologists Association are clearly about making geology accessible to anyone who is interested. In other words, we want to share our science with everyone that wants to participate or even just has a passing interest. So we foster the progress and diffusion of the science of geology into society more broadly. And we represent the interface between professional and knowledgeable enthusiasts and the wider public, so engaging with all. And we try and do that in a whole range of activities, and during this presentation I will try and show you some of those activities, and we would be interested in your feedback on what more we should be doing to engage, to be as inclusive as possible. And since its formation, the GA has actively promoted the study of geology to everyone with an interest in the past, present, and future of the natural world. And it's very inclusive as a group. It's run by a council of 24 members, and they come from a diverse range of professions, some having worked in marketing, some being current active professional geologists. And the GA is managed by the executive secretary and an administrative assistant. There's, as I have already said, a diverse membership drawn from across the UK and from overseas. And even from its foundation in 1858, the membership includes women, has included women, and currently we have, since July 2020, an EDI working group, which is challenging ourselves about whether or not we could be yet more inclusive. And again, your feedback on how we might do that would be very welcome. So how do we achieve our inclusivity? It is through the range of events that we run. So in general, in the normal way of things, on the first Friday of about 9 months of the year, we hold evening talks in Burlington House in London, and everyone is welcome to come along to those. They're early evening, so travel is relatively convenient. We hold a GA student symposium, and students are encouraged to enter competitions with posters and things. We have an annual 2-day conference, usually in a major UK city, and hosted in collaboration with the associated regional groups for that area. We also host annually the Festival of Geology at the University College London on the first weekend in November. And we host, as we've already described, a whole range of national and international field trips. And again, visitors are very welcome to all of these events. During the COVID-19 pandemic, obviously the presentations and symposium have had to be hosted virtually. We actually deferred the two-day conference for next year rather than trying to host that virtually. And most of the field trips have been deferred. The overseas international ones are deferred probably until 2022. But the UK field trips will resume as and when COVID guidance allows us to do this. Currently, we're very busy preparing for the virtual Festival of Geology, and we hope that you'll join us for that. As you can see, this will be on the 7th of November. And we aim to capture the spirit of the Festival of Geology in its live format, as it has been, and I'm sure many of you will have been along in previous years. So we'll include the normal format of a series of very engaging, very accessible talks. We'll include the activities for younger people and families, and the displays from regional groups, museums and traders. And I think that as with your own celebration for Lyme Regis, it's really impressive how much effort people have put into collating information that they can share with the broader community. And it would be great to see you coming along to that. Additionally, we've tried to capture the social side of the Festival of Geology. And so we've designed, and we hope that they're a success, obviously this is a trial, first time, some themed chat rooms. And of particular interest perhaps to your group is that there'll be a fossil identification chat room where you can talk to Mick Oates about your specimens and hear a bit more about them if you have any uncertainty. Additionally, I'm hoping that we'll be presenting the photographs from the annual photographic competition that the GA hosts. And this slide is just put in to show the actual reach of the international trips. And as I mentioned previously, the program is on hold until 2022. When it resumes, the trips are very popular, and they are usually by appointment, so you book for them online through the GA website. And what else do we do to engage with people? Well, we have a whole range of communication media that we use, and particularly accessible, I personally feel, is the magazine of the Geologists Association, and that's edited by Liam Gallagher. And it includes, a very diverse range of articles and reflects the broad range of interests of the membership. It includes archive material, and it includes current activities, research projects, and keeps you in touch with the day-to-day activities of the running of the GA as well. The proceedings of the Geologists Association, shown here in the middle, is, of all the journals that are produced by geologists, probably the most accessible. It covers a very diverse range of topics, and that is in terms of the age of the rocks that are considered, and in terms of the research through to applied aspects of geology as well. And probably one of the few journals where you will readily find regional type articles rather than international leading research focused on specific aspects of geology, rather than homing in on the regional geology that you may be interested in if you're going out for field excursions. We also there have a particular interest in earth heritage and conservation. And that feeds in nicely to our links with the Earth Heritage magazine, which can be downloaded from the website. And an equally engaging magazine is Geology Today, and the GA is closely associated with the production of Geology Today. There is for members also access to the University College London library and the GA map collection that's held there. Additionally, we produce this series of field guides, of which the one for geology of the Dorset coast may be of particular interest to yourselves, and they're available for a very reasonable price. I think this one costs in the order of £11, and they really are excellent field guides. I mean, I'm not trying to sell them, but I just can't recommend those enough. Written by local experts and very accessible, and with clear images and good maps. The education side of what we do includes the evening lectures, but also we have some activities that we call Geolabs, whereby we work with local regional groups to invite the public in to share aspects of geology in a lab type environment. So we might have some practical lab activity or some school activities, family activities in the morning, followed perhaps by a field event in the afternoon. In some cases, it might include microscope work or sample identification. They tend to vary in accordance with the design of the regional group. We also have something called School Rocks, and School Rocks is well established now and expanding thanks to a recent legacy left by Adrian Champion. And School Rocks is focused on providing boxes of rocks with guidance and instructions for teachers so that they can engage school children in the description, texture, and types of rocks that they may encounter at key stages in their education. We've also started to include educational PowerPoints on the GA website, so providing information for teachers. And the GA hosts and Rockwatch, more of which a little bit later. Additionally, there are a number of geotrails and building stone walks, all accessible via the GA website. And some of these have been funded through some of our funding awards. The image in front of you is a picture of some people on a sofa looking at a screen, and that is just to engage people with geology during this COVID situation. So during COVID, Janet Wright and Alison Barraclough, along with Barbara Silver, have been collating all the available information that they possibly can that you might want to engage with in the only way that you can from your sofa, so via our website. And that is updated on a fortnightly basis, and reminders are sent out to members accordingly. That's proved particularly popular, and I'd encourage you to look at our website and have a look at that as well. The GA recognises the contributions of earth scientists in terms of research and contributions for communication, and to the Geologists Association as well. Many of the awards are legacies, and some of these legacies are very good at reminding us about some of the people that have contributed significantly to the Geologists Association in the past. The Fullerton Award for work of merit connected with the association, the Halstead Medal, for merit in furthering GA objectives and promoting geology, which is obviously one of our primary objectives. The Halstead Award for a substantial contribution by an early career scientist in any area of geology. And the Richardson Award, which recognises the best paper in the preceding year's volume of the Proceedings of the Geologists Association. That's the Green Journal that I showed you in an earlier slide. And then every 3 years, there's the Henry Stopes Memorial Fund awarded for work on prehistory of man in his geological environment. And finally, there's the President's Medal, and this was introduced relatively recently to acknowledge long service contributions to the administration and benefit of the Geologists Association. People on council work incredibly hard, and they tend to specialize in specific areas. And there are a whole range of sort of ongoing activities in the background that you wouldn't perhaps be aware of in terms of day-to-day membership of the Geologists Association. So for instance, I'm thinking about things like writing health and safety guidance for field trips, or undertaking a review of the risk profile for the association, particularly during this period of COVID. And then there are the research grants that are awarded to enable people to progress specific aspects of science, and the awards committee review applications and very often go back to people asking for a bit more detail, and then guiding and ensuring that we get delivery on the projects to which we've contributed. In 2020, clearly the awards ceremony couldn't take place. So what we did was we went out to areas of geological interest, and we met with individuals to present the award in a very similar format to that which we would do at the awards ceremony. So essentially we had myself there as the incoming president, describing the context of the award, and then Nick Pierpoint, who was our previous president, is shown here handing over the awards to the recipients. So in the top left, we have Jonathan Larwood being presented with the President's Medal for his outstanding work for the GA, which includes all manner of things, including the work he does on archives and his just overall contribution to all aspects of GA matters. Beneath that, we have Ros and Ian Mercer, and they are in Thorndon Country Park, and they received the Halstead Medal for their outstanding work on communicating geology in a very accessible way. They've really specialised in this, and behind them is an area that's a temporary exposure that has been conserved in Thorndon Country Park. Quite unusual to find temporary exposures preserved in this way, and they've produced a whole series of brochures that take you, for instance, through the history of a pebble. Very, very engaging work that they've been undertaking. Beneath that, Rory Mortimer was presented the Richardson Award for articles that he had written in the PGA, and he's displayed here in his near his rock shed in Lewes. He was a former president of the Geologists Association. He's talking to Nick, the then current president of the Geologists Association, about a previous occasion on which he'd been awarded the Richardson Award. In the top right, here in or should I say on, Haytor in Dartmoor in Devon, Zoe Milden receiving her Halstead Award. And we're lucky that Zoe will be giving a virtual presentation later on in the year, so one to look out for that relates to her outstanding science contributions. Below that, Sue Marriott, here at Portishead near Bristol. They're looking at an exposure, but in front of Nick, looking out over the Severn Channel near Bristol. And Sue's work is exemplary in the skill that she has applied and developed for editing the GA geology guides, of which the one that I pointed out earlier on Devon is well worth looking at. And similarly, we try and engage with students, encouraging them to become geology researchers. And we do that through a whole series of awards and prizes. And the prizes include the Curry MSc Awards. For the master students in an earth sciences subject that have produced a dissertation of outstanding quality. And for a student, a prize of £1,000 is a substantial sum. And there are two of those, or up to two of those awarded annually. Last year, there were two of them. The Ivor Tupper Award is designed to give financial assistance to a deserving undergraduate. So I feel this aligns particularly well with the GA aims and remit. Here, trying to ensure that anybody who's struggling may have assistance, particularly if they're a talented student. This particular award does rely on the student department applying with the student. And then there's the UK onshore gas award for financial assistance for final years of research theses. And then there are these awards schemes whereby students can apply for research grants as well. And in 2020, these were the award winners. So from the University of Bristol, Oliver Eric Demuth, from University College London, Florence Bayol, and there were no nominations this year for the Ivor Tupper Fund, and for the UCOGL Research Award from the University of Oxford, Edward Clement. Congratulations to all of them. Nominations for the next set of awards are due by the 15th of November. You still have time, and if your tutors aren't encouraging you and you're a student, perhaps you could give them a nudge and encourage them to contribute to this scheme. And finally, for the youngest members, there is, as I've already mentioned, Rockwatch. And Rockwatch annually holds about 6 public events and 11 field trips. And there's a rock style competition, which is very popular. There are 3 editions of the Rockwatch magazine, which goes out with fact cards and event leaflets. And again, the Rockwatch web pages are excellent. I really would recommend going to have a look at them. And on those pages, you can see just how much Rockwatch has engaged with young people since it was started in 2001. And there are some profiles of young people who are now doing degrees or gone on to their careers. And they describe just how much Rockwatch meant to them as young people with an interest in geology. We very much encourage children to come along with their families And it's a social group as well as an informative and engaging group. Some people stay for just short periods of time because we're very aware that children's interests come and go. But then there are members that stay with us and have a real legacy. And a list of the typical events, which will be of interest. Clearly, during the COVID pandemic, most events have had to be postponed. As with everyone else, we're looking out to the time when we can rectify that situation. And I would really recommend that if you're interested, we're accessible. We want to reach out to everybody who has an interest. Please make contact with us. When things have returned to normal, you can indeed visit us via our offices at Burlington House. That clearly isn't possible at the moment. Do have a look at the website. There's a lot of information there. It's the best way to make contact with us at the moment. And Sarah Stafford is incredibly warm and engaging and will give you a real warm welcome if you have any queries or questions. And equally, I'm just as happy to take any queries or questions that you may have of me. Thank you for listening.